Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new 2026 Cimarron Norstar Warmblood 2-horse straight load. But this is not just your typical straight load 2-horse bumper pull. This guy's got a lot of cool features, a lot of extras. As you can probably see right off the bat, you see the side ramp. We're going to talk about that and show you some other cool stuff, but this has probably become our most popular bumper pull seller over the last probably 2 years. Really good setup. We're going to walk you through it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some specs. So this is a Warmblood trailer, so let's start there. It is 7'7" tall, so you have that extra height. Cimarron standard height is 7'1", then they go in 3-inch increments from there, so that's where we end up at 7'7". It's 6'10" wide, that's their standard width. And then from nose to tail, this trailer is just a shade over 21 feet, but the actual box itself is 18.3. Again, when you add the tongue for the actual bumper pull coupler on this one, it adds about 3 more feet. So true nose to tail, it is just a shade over 21 foot. As far as the weight on this trailer, it comes in at 4,000 pounds empty. So, you know, we see a lot of half-ton pickups come in here, some SUVs. Obviously, it needs to be set up for towing. But, you know, as far as where it starts off empty, loading a couple head of horses, you know, we can go from there. But again, you know, we'll talk about what you're going to need from a braking standpoint, but let's just start up here. First and foremost, you're going to have a 2 5/16 bumper pull coupler right there. So you're going to need a 2 5/16 ball. You have your safety chains, you have your breakaway battery here with your actual switch there. This, if you look at the actual hand crank jack on this, we actually like a taller foot on this one, so it's a little bit taller than standard. One of the issues just we run into is all these newer trucks are taller, so when it comes to the bumper pull hitch itself and you go to crank it on or off, you need a block sometimes, but that taller leg, as far as that extension on that foot goes, we actually go ahead and put those on there just because we do run into that from time to time. If you want a wheel, that can be, we can swap that out and get you a wheel. We don't like wheels on, especially on the asphalt. You know, really strong winds. As you can see, we've kind of got some slopes here for drainage, so we just don't want them to be rolling around on us. So we like this foot, especially the asphalt when it gets really hot. We don't want it to sink in to the actual asphalt itself. So again, we like that foot. But if you like a wheel, if you're parking it in some gravel, something along those lines, it's nice to be able to, maybe if you're not perfectly square, kind of lean on a little bit and drop it on. But you do have your manual crank there. One piece that I want you to notice is this stone guard here at the bottom. So standard is 18 inches. We have now changed our standard on how we order our bumper pull trailers to 36. And the reasoning why is it's just something, as we start to see some of these trailers coming in on trade, we just noticed that maybe there's a little bit, you know, above that 18 inches where some, you know, stones have actually come up. So whether it's dirt or rocks coming up and hitting that aluminum sheeting, let's just try to protect the trailer a little bit more, keeping it looking pristine as best we can. So we've gone in, instead of 18 inches, we make ours 36. So you'll notice that on a lot of our inventory moving forward. That's something we changed a few months ago, but obviously with production and how trailers we have stacked up for orders, it takes a little while, and now we get to this point where you will start to see all of our bumper pulls coming in that way. Now, this one has this front tack room. Front tack door is going to be on the front passenger side nose. If you notice, we've got a window in the actual door itself. There's going to be another one on the nose on the other side of the trailer, so we can get a lot of ventilation in this trailer. You know, when you're throwing saddles and blankets, that sweaty tack in there, it's going to air it out. Definitely a nice feature to have there. You got your brush tray on the door, so you can throw your smaller miscellaneous items there. Your hoof picks, your brushes, fly sprays, any other ointments, liniments, anything like that, you can throw right in that and it catches it. If you want to add another one, you can. If you want a door organizer, those are some items that can be added after the fact very easily through our parts and service department. Fold up step. Now, our fold up steps, we like putting these on tack rooms on all of our trailers, all of our inventory, just because it makes a big difference. We understand you're packing items in and out of this. So why would I want to pack something from where I'm standing flat-footed right now to that lower, you know, door frame itself? That is a big step. So when we throw that fold up step, it helps this transition so easy, especially if you're packing items coming into this actual tack room itself. Now on the floor, you're gonna have rubber mats. Behind me here is gonna be a recessed post with 2 saddle racks and 2 blanket bars. So it's again set up with 2 because it's a 2-horse. If you wanted to add more, you can. If you want to change the sequencing, change the spacing, completely remove them, you can. You just loosen up the nuts, slide them out the top. They've got a notch up there where that hardware goes into, and you can take them out. If you're gonna take them out and store them, keep all the hardware together, store them somewhere nice and safe, somewhere where they can be protected, but then easily remember where you put them. So if you do trade this in, go to sell it, something along those lines, looking to upgrade, we can throw these back in the trailer and you can grab them. But again, really easy to change up the setting if you want. There's a window on the partition wall. So if you're traveling and you want to stop somewhere, maybe you're fueling up and you just want to take a peek in there and see how everyone's doing, you can hop right in here and check out the horses and see how they're traveling. In this corner by the door, you're going to end up with multiple bridle hooks. These are aluminum powder coated. There's high and low, and then there's carpet behind them to protect everything. So when we start, you know, putting head stalls on with bits and they start moving against that aluminum and scuffing it up, scuffing up the actual head stall itself or bridle, whatever it is, we don't want to do that. This is going to protect it and also deadens the noise on this wall in particular when we're, you know, having horses on board. On the actual trailer itself. Right by the door is going to be some light switches. So there's 2 light switches here. There's one directly above the door on the inside here. It's one of those big OptiBrite LEDs. So for this size of a tack room, there's more than enough light. And when we get to the outside, there's going to be an LED light out there. So you have a load light, because we wanted to put a light above the tack door itself. Well, guess what? Because of we're putting the door on the nose, our other load light on the side that I'll show you here in a minute really doesn't do you a lot of good. So these light switches will operate this interior light and exterior light. The last thing in here is going to be a clothes rod. So you have a clothes rod up on the door, or on the ceiling over here towards kind of driver's side of that nose. So you can hang clothes, you can hang garment bags. Maybe you're showing off the trailer, you need to come and hop in and change into a show shirt, you can do that. And then there's your window that I was talking about as well. And then obviously you get your spare tire. Again, really easy to operate that. It's on a gas shock, so it's easy to flip up and down. This trailer here is silver metallic. When we get to driver's side, we'll shut up the escape door on that side. You'll really get a good look at the actual coloring itself. White is standard, but silver metallic, charcoal metallic are probably the 2 most common, you know, upgraded colors. There is an upcharge for that, but boy, does it look good. When you get it in the sunlight just right, you get to see all those metallic flakes in it. So it's a really good color there. There's that load light I was telling you about that's on the side. So we have load lights on each side. Obviously the one up by the tack door and one at the rear I'll show you here in a little bit. So plenty of lights on the outside of the trailer for you, so you can see everything, work all the way around all the sides of this trailer and have light coverage. But here we go, side ramp. So this is that bumper pull with a side ramp type setup. So as you can see, we've got a Dutch door up above. You see the big bus window in that. So we can get airflow coming into the horses directly behind the tack and forcing air back to the horses by having that window in that actual Dutch door that swings out of the way. Then we have our side ramp that folds down. You can see the butt bar, or it's kind of a chest bar in this instance is what we would call it. I'll show you how that operates when we get to the inside, but this is a walk-on, walk-off setup. So you can walk horses on, you can have this guy opened up, you can secure them, setting their chest bars, tying them up, and step right out of the trailer nice and safe. Now pay attention to this wall. You're gonna notice that partition wall is not a straight. On a lot of the straight load bumper pulls, when they don't have this side ramp, that wall is going to be straight across. This is a 1 foot offset. So it gives us that natural, you know, motion and flow out of the trailer coming to the side ramp, because it opens it up a little bit as horses come this way. It also allows us to put this side ramp on there. Without that offset, we're just a little bit too tight on what we're trying to accomplish, and it would really shrink up the size of the actual tack room itself. So it works really, really well. We have a big bus window over the hip of the horse. I'll get to the other side and we'll shut that up and you can see that. But as you can see, you've got Dutch doors at the back that fold around and lock into place on this vise here. The nice thing is this guy can be locked as well. All of these can. All these keys are the exact same. So tack door, these side ramp, all of them can be locked and secured with one. But if you wanted to run with this door open at the back and create a lot of airflow, you can. You can fold it over and again, be able to secure it, little peace of mind of, hey, that's locked, nobody can mess with it. You know, did I secure it? Once it's there and locked, you know, it's not going anywhere. But you do have the bus windows in there as well. And then you're gonna get the lower extrusion. And then on our axles, we have two 5,200 pound Dexter rubber torsion axles, electric brake. So that tow vehicle, whatever you're towing it with, it has to have either an integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. If you need help with an aftermarket, our parts and service department can install that for you. Then from there, you got the aluminum wheels, so that silver with a black accent there. And then you're gonna end up with 10 ply tires. These are Goodyear tires. These are on a 16-inch rim. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires, which is awesome because if you catch a nail that hits the sidewall and it can't be patched, unfortunately you hit something on the road or you have a blowout, something along those lines, from the date you purchase it, these tires are covered by Lion's Head, who's the vendor that Cimarron uses. So you won't go through Cimarron, you go through Lion's Head, but we can help you out with that. But it's nice to have that peace of mind of, hey, from the date I purchase it, my wheels and tires are covered, no questions asked, for 1 year. We don't see it very often, but a couple times a year we get a call from somebody that says, hey, dang it, I caught a nail or I caught a screw somewhere, or, you know, this happened, what do I do? You take some pictures, you show the damage, and then from there we can help you actually process that. On the trailer side, you're gonna get an 8-year structure warranty and a 3-year hardware warranty. So they really stand behind the product as far as on the Cimarron side of it. Now, here's a good look at the back. Obviously, I showed you the Dutch door on the top. So the Dutch doors can wrap around. They have the wraparound style hinges up there. But again, they can open up or secure, or you can shut them and open up the bus windows if you want to manipulate some of that airflow. But then you've got your lower ramp. You'll actually shut your lower ramp first, then your Dutch doors. Again, I'll show you and get it shut up here at the back. But this is a great trailer because, as you can see, with the walk-on, walk-off and the ramp, maybe you wanted to use this trailer for something else. You know, maybe you want to haul some toys occasionally, you know, maybe eliminate one trailer and you kind of get down to one that does everything. This trailer's got it. I'll show you a really cool feature here in a minute, but if you wanted to load those type of stuff, or, you know, as obviously walking your horse on and off, very, very easy to do as far as that's concerned. Okay, we've got butt bars and chest bars, but I want to talk about these locations first. This butt bar right here, when this ramp comes up and these doors come over, they all want to meet right about here. So it used to be this standard height of these chest and butt bars were at 43 inches off the floor. Okay, well, what are we doing? We're putting big horses in these trailers. Well, 43 inches off the floor is what their standard measurement is for chest and butt bars on all their using trailers that are 7'1" tall, that are going to accommodate, you know, more of your quarter horse, maybe a little bit smaller horses. Okay, we need to rethink that. So we here at Transwest have gone in, we've made this butt bar set at 49 inches above the floor, and then our chest bars at 46. So that way we can accommodate these bigger horses. On this chest bar, what's really cool is this actually has a feature where it locks. So if you have somebody that likes to play with stuff and maybe you can get one of these guys to pop out, this guy here secures it and you just flip it up and then down out of the way it goes. If you wanted to remove these, you can just pop the pin out, remove the chest bars and butt bars if you'd like. But again, we wanted to accommodate a bigger horse. So speaking of the bars, up here on this one that goes a ramp, across the ramp that you could see from the outside. So once I get the carabiner off, normally it's a long bar, right? Because it's a bigger opening. So then it's like, well, what do you do with this bar? We don't want somebody to hit it. We don't want to trip over it. You can kind of set it out by the wall, but if somebody comes over and bumps it, can bounce around, create a lot of noise. So this bar itself is actually on a slider. So I can slide it up, I can secure it over here in this corner, and then it's out of the way. Very easy to operate, and again, nice to be able to secure it, get it out of the way for yourself. This divider, let's talk about it. As you can see, it's a stud divider, but also has all the airflow. So it has an airflow head grill, jail bars that go all the way across the back of the horse, padded, and then stud, so it goes down to the floor. So, you know, really want to just kind of isolate and keep everybody nice and separate. Don't want anybody stepping on each other, trying to kick each other. You got that stud divider for that. And then the airflow part of it, again, creating a lot of airflow. I showed you the bus windows. We talked about the Dutch doors, the window in the Dutch door above the side ramp, creating airflow for horses, keeping them nice and comfortable. You have it in this instance. But now this is where the versatility of this trailer really comes into play, and also being able to do so many different things with the trailer itself. So normally on these straight loads, they've got these dividers that can break loose, and you and a friend can move them against the wall, or you can take them out of the trailer, but it's a multiple person job. To where here, I unpin it from the ceiling, the floor, and I'm in the middle of this divider. Remember, this thing's tipped towards passenger side, but there's a track up here, and these are on wheels, on these rollers in there. I can actually unpin it by myself, roll it out of the way, and now I have one big box stall. Or if I want to haul some toys like I mentioned, want to throw a mare and a foal in here, just give somebody room, you can slide that out of the way and secure it, and you can convert this from 2-horse to this box stall very, very easily and very, very quickly. So this concept actually came over from the show cattle trailers. So those show cattle trailers, the same track is used, same rollers, same similar gate. Obviously there's some different setups, but it was across the trailer this way. So we'd roll the gates backwards and forwards so they can manipulate stall sizes. Well, we said, hey, what if we did that on a horse trailer, especially on these straight loads? So we can do that and slide it out of the way. We do this a lot on these bumper pulls. We've got some gooseneck versions of this, 2+1s, you know, big head to heads, you know, 4, 6, whatever size you want. We can do that, and we're doing so many of these with these rolling gates and dividers because it's so easy, and it is so nice to be able to have this feature and get it out of the way. All right, so airflow, again, 2 roof vents above the horse's head, so we can once again create a vacuum, create airflow. When this air starts coming into the trailer, it wants to go somewhere, so that's where it's really key to either have the Dutch doors at the back open or those sliders. That air wants to go somewhere, and once it starts going, boy, is it comfortable for the horses themselves, creating again that wind flow and making them nice and comfortable. Now on the roof, this is a standard roof on a Cimarron. It doesn't matter if it's a bumper pull like this, one of these big living quarters you see in the background, or one of those head-to-heads I was telling you about. They all have the exact same roof. When it comes to the comfortability of the horses in this, keeping them nice and cool, that insulated roof does the exact same thing. It's got an R3 thermal value and a gel coating on top. So it's actually going to keep this stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted trailers. That makes a massive difference in the summertime. We love showing these trailers off in the summertime when it's 95, 100 degrees on this asphalt all day. We'll take you to one manufacturer in a horse trailer that's been sealed up, and then take you to a Cimarron. You can physically tell a difference in the stall temperature. So a lot of airflow, insulated roof's going to keep them nice and cool as well. The other part of that is it's really strong. It's a 1/2 inch thick with a honeycomb design to it, so it's reinforced, so it's really strong. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot, so I can walk on this roof, it won't dent it, and it will take substantial hail. Now, when we flip to the other side, on the floor, you can see we've got rubber mats here, but what's underneath is the industry's best floor on the market. So this is an all aluminum trailer. So We have 4-inch centers. It's a 12-inch extruded deck that locks in high and low. So 2 points of contact. So it's much more rigid. There's 1 point of contact, it has the ability to flex a little bit more. But in this, it has that V-truss in the middle of that 12-inch deck, but those centers are set on every 4 inches. So picture in your mind a horse standing on this floor. No matter where they're standing on 1, if not 2 support beams all the way across. So if you want to tell quality of an all aluminum trailer, just crawl underneath and look at the floor and watch those centers start spacing out. So again, industry's best floor there. Now, insulated roof. I mean, you start combining all of these things, this traveling gate, boy, does this trailer really well equipped. And then you've got your kind of just standard features. I mean, you got your kick mat. Everything has a radius to it. They put a capping on that, so everything's nice and smooth. You grab this divider, everything's got a radius to it. Couple LED lights in here. Those OptiBrights, just like I showed you in the tack room up front, they're on a switch. So all exterior lights have their own individual switch, and then the interior has theirs. So it's nice to be able to manipulate where you want the actual lights on. And again, these are these big OptiBright lights, so they put off a ton of light. Not a big power draw. This was a light that we were constantly putting on our inventory, just pending availability of product there for a little while. But here over the last year, Cimarron made that their standard interior light is that OptiBright light. So again, we're big fans of it, and we've been putting them on our trailers for quite some time. So again, really cool setup here in the tack area, or in the stall area for the horses with this traveling divider. The side ramp setup, and then this rear ramp. So speaking of that, we'll go ahead and we'll just shut it up. There's spring assist, so as you can see, I get to a point where I just kind of let it go and it pulls into the trailer itself. Again, we can lock everything up with one key. Your Dutch doors, once again, have the windows in them, so if you don't want it wide open, you can just utilize those guys. Now we've got a load light at the back, an 8-inch load light back there. Again, all the switches are on, all these lights are on the individual switch. They're all located right here. So I can, once again, I can turn that guy off. That's the lower left switch. Lower right is actually going to be stall, and then our uppers are going to be right and left. So again, plenty of light. Speaking of lights, we were putting backup lights on a lot of our inventory. Cimarron made it standard to be built into the rear tail light of this. So in each one of these marker lights, tail lights here at the back, that white X is a backup light. So when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, it'll actually light up. What's interesting is we were putting a single backup light on these guys, and then Cimarron put them in these 4. I will tell you, if it's the individual light, boy, is it bright in one area. Imagine me with a flashlight holding it right here. It's really bright in that one really central location. But then if I step back a little bit and put it here, I have all this light coverage, and that's what you get with this. So you get a more consistent light coverage by having them in the actual tail lights of this trailer built in. And again, because of the trailer behind the tow vehicle, it's going to block our backup lights on our tow vehicle quite a bit. So they're really not, useful. It's nice to have this. You will get into some scenarios where it's dark and you're unfamiliar. Even if it's at home, just having that light coverage is definitely nice. All right, so here's a good look at that bus window that goes over the back hip of the horse. That is a big window. So we look at a lot of these Warmblood trailers, and some of them will try to put a big window there, but it doesn't come close to the size of this guy. A bus window, half of it slides, so let's really maximize the size of it, and you get that with this Cimarron, with the window they use. And then there's that lower extrusion, and then you've got that escape door I was telling you about. So when you're loading and unloading, you can actually hop in either side of this trailer. So you can open this guy up, load a horse, hop out here, hop out the other side if the ramp's down. Access, same thing. Nice to be able to hop in and out. And then it's got that chest bar that goes across. This one over here does not have the slider, just because it's a shorter one. It's not going to lay on the ground like that other one would with that longer actual bar itself. This is pretty cool. So again, I can lock this guy up if I want, but we want to get airflow to that first horse over here on driver's side. Well, you've got your drop down style feed door over here with jail bars. So again, airflow getting into the horses. We're going in a forward motion, air needs to catch and then travel back to them. If you want, you can just utilize the bus window. If you want to drop this guy down for any reason, maybe offer some feed, you've got that capability. But this is the same setup that you see in a lot of our other head-to-heads, some 2+1s we try to put these on, and obviously the slant loads. These have welded hinges with grease zerks on them, so they're really easy for you to maintain. If you get a stiff hinge, something starts squeaking, you can actually put grease to it. You notice this little brass ring in the middle. Well, that's an actual, it attaches to a rod that goes the full length of this, and it's got a groove cut into it, so it's got like a swirl. So imagine a candy cane, that type of a swirl that goes all the way. When you put grease to it and open and close this, it feeds throughout, so it's a lot easier for you to maintain. Same thing, these fenders, these are bolt on rather than weld on. So if we get into a scenario where we tear one of these guys up, it's less labor intensive, so less cost to swap it. If it's a weld on, you got to cut it off, put the new one on, re-weld it. To where this, you can unbolt, bolt the new one on, seal it, reattach your lights, and you're in business. So a lot simpler from that standpoint and easier to maintain as far as that's concerned. And again, here's a good look at that silver extrusion, silver metallic with the extrusion rather than white. Again, it's going to look a little bit darker, like today with a little bit overcast. You get it in the light, sunlight out here, it lightens it up a little bit, and then you get all those metallic flakes you see in the trailer itself. And then you got a load light above that escape door as well. So if you need to access in, or if you have horses tied up over here, again, having that light on either side of the trailer is so nice to have. So I'm going to give you the stock number for reference. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull side ramp traveling gate, 5N250451. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your door. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.